Throughout history, Israel has been at the center of divine intervention, a testament to the unwavering hand of the Almighty. The 1940s were no exception. This was a pivotal time that would shape not only the future of the Jewish people, but the fulfillment of biblical prophecies. In this video, we'll explore key events from the 1940s that serve as powerful examples of how God stood by his chosen people, how land was purchased, wars were fought, and against all odds, Israel became a nation once again. The 1940s were a decade of great turmoil, but also of hope. In the midst of the aftermath of World War II, millions of Jews were displaced, many of them survivors of the Holocaust. The Jewish people had long dreamt of returning to their biblical homeland, and the stage was set for a miraculous series of events that would see the establishment of the State of Israel. The first step toward building a nation was land acquisition. By the 1940s, Jewish organizations had been buying land in Palestine for decades, a process that started in the late 19th century. But in the 1940s, this effort reached new heights. One of the key organizations involved in this process was the Jewish National Fund, led by figures like Menachem Usishkin. They tirelessly worked to purchase land from absentee Arab landowners. The Lord was at work, guiding these leaders to secure vital parts of the land that would form the core of the future state of Israel. It wasn't easy. Much of the land was barren and desolate, but just as the Bible foretold in Ezekiel 36, verse 8, "But you, O mountains of Israel, shall shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people Israel, for they will soon come home." This prophecy came to life. Jewish pioneers known as kibbutzniks turned desert wastelands into fertile farms. They drained swamps, planted trees, and made the land bloom once more, a sign of divine blessing on their efforts. They believed that their work was not just physical, but spiritual, fulfilling the promises of the Almighty. As the decade progressed, the international community began to take notice of the Jewish people's rightful claim to their homeland. In 1947, the United Nations proposed the Partition Plan, which called for the creation of separate Jewish and Arab states. This plan was accepted by the Jews, though it was a plan filled with challenges and uncertainties. But God's plan does not come without trials. In 1948, Israel declared independence, and immediately it faced overwhelming opposition. Neighboring Arab nations launched a war against the fledgling state. The odds seemed insurmountable. Israel was outnumbered, outgunned, and surrounded by enemies determined to wipe it off the map. But the Lord was with them. Against all odds, the newly formed Israeli Defense Forces won decisive victories. The war was not just a military struggle, it was a battle of faith, a demonstration of God's continued protection over Israel, just as he had done in the days of Joshua and David. As we look back, we can see how these events from the 1940s confirm the hand of God in the re-establishment of Israel. Despite all the challenges, whether it was buying land, building communities, or defending themselves from hostile forces, Israel survived and thrived. The promises of God were being fulfilled before the eyes of the world. Today, Israel stands as a modern miracle, a nation reborn after 2,000 years of exile. The events of the 1940s are proof that when God declares something, no force on earth can stand against it. As Isaiah chapter 66 verse 8 says, "Can a country be born in a day, or a nation be brought forth in a moment?" Yet Israel was, by the grace of the Almighty. The history of Israel, especially in the 1940s, is a powerful reminder that God keeps his promises. He stood by his people then, and he continues to stand by them today. The story of Israel is not just a historical one. It is a living testimony of faith, perseverance, and the divine will of the Almighty. Thank you for watching. If you found this video inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the miraculous works of God throughout history.